I'm Betty Hill, and my husband Barney and I were the first to be abducted by astronauts from another solar system.
Imagine for a moment, you're driving down a lonely road, the night is dark, and suddenly, an unexplained light appears, followed by a loss of time. Sounds like a plot from a sci-fi movie, right? But what if I told you that for some, this isn't just a scene from a film, but a haunting reality? Alien abductions have been a topic of intrigue, skepticism, and let's face it, a fair bit of mockery. But beneath the layers of Hollywood glamour and tabloid sensationalism, there are stories that are hard to dismiss. Stories that have left indelible marks on those who claim to have experienced them. Speaking of stories that refuse to fade into the background, remember our little chit-chat about Betty and Barney Hill in the Men in Black video? Oh, you thought that was all there was to it? Think again. That was just the tip of the extraterrestrial iceberg. Their tale, filled with eerie encounters and inexplicable events, might have been the talk of the town, but it wasn't the only one that sent shockwaves through the media and the public alike. Now, fasten your seatbelts, or should I say, spaceship harnesses. We're about to venture into a world where the unbelievable becomes believable, where the known meets the unknown, and where every account, no matter how bizarre, has its place under the probing spotlight of scrutiny. Welcome aboard! Betty and Barney Hill, the names that echo through the annals of alien abduction lore. Before that fateful night, they were just like any of us. Betty, a social worker with a penchant for detail, and Barney, a postal worker with a calm demeanor, were living a rather ordinary life. Their love story, an interracial couple in the 1960s, was already a testament to their courage and resilience. Little did they know that their bond would be tested in ways they could never have imagined. It was a crisp September night in 1961. The Hills were driving back from a vacation in Canada, probably discussing their trip or planning their next weekend. Curiosity turned to alarm as the light approached their car, revealing itself not as a star, but as an aircraft of a design they had never seen. What followed was a series of events that would forever change their lives. A close encounter, missing time, and haunting memories that would later be revealed under hypnosis. The couple described humanoid figures, strange examinations, and a spacecraft with intricate details.
I noticed a bright light in the sky, and I thought I was discovering a new planet, until it started to move. So we stopped the car to get out to look at it. And that's when it changed direction and started coming in towards us. And it's flying in a very erratic manner. And at that point, the craft began to descend. As they're driving along, there's beeping sounds. That sounds like something was hitting the trunk of the car, and the car vibrated. And here were the group of men he'd seen on the craft, standing in the middle of this road, blocking our way. And they came up in two groups, took us out of the car, passed in the woods to where the craft was on the ground.
The aftermath of their experience was nothing short of a whirlwind. The Hills, once private individuals, found themselves thrust into the limelight. Evidence? Betty's torn dress and inexplicably shiny spots on their car's trunk, which, under UV light, glowed mysteriously. Investigations? Dr. Benjamin Simon, a renowned psychiatrist, conducted sessions with the couple, unveiling consistent and detailed accounts of their abduction. And the media? They had a field day. The Hills' narrative, while groundbreaking, wasn't just an isolated incident in a vacuum. It was a testament to the human spirit's resilience when faced with the inexplicable. Their descriptions of the aliens, with their wraparound eyes and grayish skin, became a template for many subsequent accounts. But what was even more intriguing were the star maps Betty drew under post-hypnotic suggestion, which seemed to match real-life constellations, ones she couldn't possibly have known about. As the world grappled with the implications of their story, the Hills faced a barrage of scrutiny. Skeptics pounced on every inconsistency, every lapse in memory. Yet, amidst the skepticism, there were undeniable anomalies. The strange circular patterns on their car's trunk, which reacted anomalously to a compass. Betty's dress, stained with an unidentifiable pink powder. These tangible pieces of evidence, juxtaposed against the backdrop of their unwavering testimony, made their story all the more compelling. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's a tough act to follow. And you'd be right. But as we peel back the layers of the unknown, we find that the universe, in all its vastness, holds many secrets. The Hills might have been the first to come forward, but they certainly weren't the last. As we bid adieu to Betty and Barney, let's brace ourselves for another tale. A tale that, much like the hills, challenges our understanding of the cosmos. And now we venture deeper into the forest of alien encounters. And just when you think you've heard the most spine-chilling of tales, along comes the story of Travis Walton, a narrative that might just make you question everything you thought you knew about the extraterrestrial. Travis Walton, a woodcutter by profession, was just another man leading an ordinary life in Snowflake, Arizona. His days were filled with the hum of chainsaws, the scent of freshly cut timber, and the camaraderie of his fellow workers. Little did he know that his mundane existence was about to be shattered, propelling him into a whirlwind of cosmic mysteries and dark speculations. On that fateful November evening in 1975, as Walton and his crew were wrapping up their work in Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, an unexpected luminescence caught their attention. What followed was a series of events so bizarre, so otherworldly, that it would forever change the course of Walton's life. As the crew watched in horror, a saucer-shaped craft descended, and in a blinding flash, Walton was gone, vanished into a thin air, or should we say, thin space? The aftermath was nothing short of chaotic. Search parties combed the area, but Walton was nowhere to be found. For 5 days, he remained missing, only to reappear with a tale that was as harrowing as it was unbelievable.
I was surrounded by these beings.
He would later recount.
Their eyes, they looked right through me.
The media, as expected, had a field day. Quotes like, "It was a metallic glowing disc," and "I felt a numbing force," were splashed across newspapers, adding fuel to the already raging fire of UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike.
And I looked up ahead and I saw this kind of glow coming through the trees. One by one, the other guys in the crew started looking, but when we burst into the clearing where we could see the source of this glow, it was just, whoa, you know, I mean, it was just mind-blowing instantly. I inexplicably got out of the truck and ran toward this thing. But I thought it was just gonna take off, be gone in a flash. And
what did they describe?
They described this glow rising up and streaking off, I believe they said, toward the northeast.
What do you remember seeing when you ran into the clearing?
The whole clearing was lit up with this weird glow. It's really hard to for any artist or movie to try to duplicate the strange glow there was there. Made everything glowing sphere. I've seen the giant black triangle.
However, as is the case with the tales as tantalizing as this, not every listener was ready to take the bait. Polygraph tests and eyewitness accounts did lean in favor of Walton's narrative, but whispers of doubt began to circulate. An expert, when discussing the polygraph results, mentioned to reporters that the charts might not be as straightforward as they seem. And then there were subtle nudges, insinuations really, that perhaps there was a more terrestrial explanation, one rooted in ambition or the allure of wealth. Walton's tale, while distinct from the hills, bore certain eerie similarities. The bright, unexplained lights, the sudden paralysis, the feeling of being observed. But what set Walton's experience apart was the sheer audacity of it. He was a man in the prime of his life who vanished in front of multiple witnesses, only to reappear days later with a story that seemed straight out of a sci-fi novel. His descriptions of the spacecraft, with its smooth, mirror-like surface and intricate color panels, painted a picture of civilization far more advanced than ours. Yet, amidst the cacophony of voices, Walton's story remained consistent. His descriptions of the aliens with their bald heads and large, penetrating eyes became etched in the public's consciousness. And while the world may never know the full extent of what transpired in those 5 days, one thing is clear. Walton's tale, much like the hills, serves as a poignant reminder that the universe, in all its vastness, still holds many secrets waiting to be unraveled. As we journey deeper into the enigmatic realm of alien abductions, it's easy to get lost in the allure of these tales. The chilling accounts, the vivid details, the unwavering testimonies, they all paint a picture that's hard to dismiss. But as any seasoned explorer will tell you, it's essential to approach such narratives with a healthy dose of skepticism, because while the stories of the hills and Walton are undoubtedly captivating, they're not without their fair share of inconsistencies. Let's start with the hills. Remember that star map Betty drew under hypnosis, which some claim matched the real constellation? Well, some astronomers beg to differ. It's a random assortment of dots, one was quoted as saying, And then there's Barney's recollection of the aliens. While Betty described them as almost human-like, Barney's initial descriptions were, let's just say, a tad more Hollywood. And speaking of Hollywood, let's not forget the Walton case. Travis's vivid descriptions of the spacecraft's interiors and the beings he encountered were eerily reminiscent of popular sci-fi flicks of the time. Coincidence? Maybe. Or perhaps a subconscious nod to his favorite movies. But it's not just the inconsistencies that raise eyebrows. There are those peculiar moments, those oddities that make you go, wait, what? Like the fact that despite being taken aboard an advanced spacecraft, the aliens seem to have a penchant for using rather archaic medical instruments. Or how Walton, after his harrowing ordeal, seemed more keen on securing a book deal than seeking therapy. And let's not even get started on the media circus. Were these genuine accounts of extraterrestrial encounters, or sensationalized tales tailored for primetime ratings?
So what did the craft itself look like?
But I don't think,
Now, let's don our psychologist hats for a moment. Could these experiences, as vivid and detailed as they are, be a manifestation of underlying stress or trauma? The 60s and 70s were tumultuous times after all. The Cold War, the space race, societal upheavals, all these could potentially trigger intense psychological responses. And who's to say that these weren't vivid dreams or hallucinations, misinterpreted as memories of real events? And while we're on the topic of influences, let's consider the external factors. Were the Hills and Walton, knowingly or unknowingly, influenced by external parties? Perhaps individuals with vested interest looking to propagate the UFO narrative. After all, a sensational story of alien abduction is a surefire way to grab headlines and, more importantly, divert attention. Context is crucial. The era these incidents occur was one of fascination with the cosmos. Space exploration was in its infancy, and the idea of extraterrestrial life was both a source of excitement and fear. Could the zeitgeist of the times have influenced not just public perception, but also the very beliefs and recollection of the abductees? Another angle to consider is the societal impact of these stories. In the wake of the Hills and Walton's accounts, countless others came forward with their own tales of alien encounters. Was this a genuine surge in extraterrestrial activity? Or were people simply influenced by the high-profile nature of these cases? It's worth noting that many of these subsequent stories bore striking similarities to the Hills and Walton's narratives. Were these genuine corroborations, or a case of collective imagination running wild? Lastly, let's not forget the role of investigators and researchers in all of this. While many approached these cases with genuine curiosity and desire for the truth, others had more, let's say, commercial interests. Books, documentaries, TV specials, the alien abduction narrative was, and still is, big business. And where there's money to be made, there's often a blurring of lines between fact and fiction. As we draw the curtains on this cosmic odyssey, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've undertaken. From the pioneering case of Betty and Barney Hill, a couple who found themselves at the epicenter of the otherworldly storm, to an enigmatic tale of Travis Walton, a woodcutter whose ordinary day at work turned into an experience beyond the realm of comprehension. These stories, with their intricate details and unwavering testimonies, have not only captivated our imaginations but have also posed questions that challenge our very understanding of reality. Were these genuine encounters with beings from another world, or intricate tapestries woven from the threads of societal influences, personal psychologies, and the allure of fame? The answer remains as elusive as the entities themselves. So, fellow explorers of the unknown, as we conclude this chapter, remember that the journey doesn't end here. For more tales that push the boundaries of belief and explorations into the enigmas of existence, subscribe to the Den of Unknown. Don't let the next revelation pass you by. Hit that bell icon. And if, in the stillness of the night, you've ever pondered the mysteries of the cosmos or have insights of the tales we've shared today, drop them in the comments below. Until next time, friends.